27 years after the first adaptation of Stephen King's bajillion-page book, Aged Like Milk, came the first big-budget adaptation. And that adaptation was loved by many despite having no clue how to build tension and ruined all the scary moments with a barrage of noise like going to a Metallica concert in the middle of a fucking tornado. Now, 2 years have passed, and within the first 10 minutes it was clear they didn't learn a fucking thing. Before I jump into what is wrong with Chapter 2, I want to clarify that most of these issues with the movie may not be deal-breakers for you, like taking off her pants in the moment and learning she has a bigger dick than you. But these issues constantly took me out of the movie, making me all too aware that I was sitting next to an annoying couple eating a bag of candy that had more pops and crackles in it than a chiropractor's office. So let's start with the positives. The casting is great. Not only do you have an all-star cast showing where the budget was redirected to instead of some of the special effects, the camaraderie between the cast is great in both sets, and the older cast look almost exactly like the child actors in 27 years. Even the child actors that aren't a part of the main cast do well. And most times, children in film and TV make you want to uppercut a nun out of frustration. The practical effects are awesome, while much of the CGI does great hidden in shadow. However, other effects, when illuminated, look more rubbery than a blow-up doll smothered in suntan oil. I don't understand why they didn't just use a stunt double child for the practical fire effect for that one shot, though I'm sure the filmmakers worried there would have been too many kids abused in this film, because kids get mowed down wholesale in this film like a fat guy cutting in line at the soup kitchen after a hurricane. Not just kids either, the first victim makes a terrible retort to some bullies, but if we're being serious, he totally deserved to die for that one. The imagery is also great. Much of what Pennywise conjures would definitely scare people, like if you were a college student and your loan debt chased you with a spiked dildo. Now, all that said, the pacing of this film is slower than a turtle trying to get his rocks off in a pool of molasses. Each of the adult actors are introduced with short segments showing how their lives have gone in the years after Derry. Bill Hader is about as successful a comedian as I am here on YouTube. McAvoy is a Hollywood writer whose books are loved but his endings are despised because they couldn't have been any more on the nose with that one. And Jessica Chastain is one Everlast contract shy of being Rihanna. But it doesn't stop there. Each of these characters also go through a past event to show where they went during the summer when they disbanded for a short time. Probably to give the child actors a fat paycheck before they all blow it on hookers, condoms, cat food, and mayonnaise, but hey, I don't know what the kids are into nowadays. And these scenes are repeated for adults as well. Many are the exact same thing. So it bothers me that these characters are willingly walking into the same predicaments and not utilizing their anger like a Sith to power through their circumstances. Probably because the runtime must be proportionate to the length of the novel, which is only 62 pages shy of the length of your average Bible. Not to mention, every single scare is not only perfectly timed if you count down from 5, but it is accompanied by ear rape. Most of the scares play out like this. There is a surge of music building to a crescendo that immediately dies because it was a fake out. Then, counting down from 5, you are met with a jump scare that is more predictable than the ending of the Titanic, compounded by loud noises like the orchestra is following the direction of their conductor having a stroke. And the noise doesn't stop until the situation is concluded. But wait, there's more. Many of the sequences of horror have comedy injected into them at the worst possible times. Like this scare that happens to one of the kids. Not only is it one of the worst sequences in the film, but it concludes with the kids saying along the lines, "I think I just shit my pants." That line was for us, the adults, and I hate it, because it shows that the director doesn't understand horror. If you want to impact the audience, the kid should have curled up for a little bit and started crying in the middle of the park. Or he should have gotten up and started walking away sobbing and we see a small trail of fecal matter coming out of his pant leg. That way the scene would have left the kid impacted and us feeling either scared or remorseful for what the kid just went through, because we're supposed to believe that these characters are going through shit that matters. Nope! Instead, the film shits itself with a bad joke and deflates any and all tension, like Bagul jumping out of you at the end of a film, and makes me want to throw my snack at the screen, which would have been a waste of more of my money, you fucks. It Chapter 2 is worse than its predecessor. The horror is trash and leaves no impact. The comedy is great outside the horror moments, but when implemented in the scary scenes, you feel more conflicted than a bipolar girlfriend trying to decide where to eat. Even with the cast, the camaraderie, acting, and writing, the film just balances out as a big old meh. If you are a fan of Stephen King, let alone It, then I think you'll enjoy this film. Otherwise, this is going to be a slog. I think it is a weak companion piece that brings about the conclusion of what should feel like an adventure. Instead, it's more like a green light to go empty your bladder before it explodes.